Right, buckle up. This is a big day for anyone who cares about immigration, which I think is probably all of us. This morning, it was revealed that 500 migrants a day are signing up to claim benefits. That's roughly 1.3 million people who've come to Britain so that they can ponce off the state. 66% of adults with refugee status are living on benefits, and we've got more than 90,000 people currently on the asylum waiting list. So we all know how that's going to play out, don't we? It costs us tens of billions of pounds a year. As of 2021, 15% of all social housing was occupied by people who were born outside the UK. And it looks like some of their children decided that they wanted to keep living in social housing as well. Because looking at the ethnicity data, 48% of Black Caribbean households and 40% of Bangladeshi households lived in social rented housing between 2021 and March 2023. Did you know that 1 in 30 people in Britain right now arrived under the last 4 years of the Tories? Mostly, it was because of this man.
We're taking back control. We have already taken back control of our money, our borders and our laws, and we will seize all the opportunities that Brexit brings.
Boris Johnson threw our borders open to the world, mostly the third world. But do you know where he chooses to live himself now? He lives in a Grade 2 manor house in a village called Brightwell-cum-Sotwell in Oxfordshire, which is basically untouched by immigration. In fact, 97% white British at the last census. Interesting that he thought he could just flood the country with people, yet he chooses to live in one of the most quintessentially English areas, isn't it? Today, this is what Labour's Shabana Mahmood decided to do about this horrific mess. So, zone into this now. Migrants can only get benefits once they become British citizens. Any migrants already on benefits will have to wait 20 years to settle in the UK. Illegal migrants and overstayers could have to wait up to 30 years. The wait for indefinite leave to remain will go from 5 to 10 years. Low-paid workers, such as those on healthcare visas, will face a 15-year wait. And to qualify for settlement at all, migrants will need to be working, speak A-level English, stay off benefits, and have a clean criminal record. High earners, though, will get indefinite leave to remain after 3 years, and highly skilled people like doctors and nurses will still have to wait 5 years. So those are kind of the main points from what she said today. I think Zia Youssef, Reform's head of policy, actually summed it up pretty well when he said, whatever you think of Shabana Mahmood, she is making every Tory Home Secretary of the last 2 decades look like the deadbeat, low-agency losers that they are. But let me tell you what's going to happen. Thousands of left-wing lawyers will now try to challenge every single aspect of this, and it will end up with the ECHR, and the only way we get this over the line is to leave the ECHR. Not long ago, I introduced Claude Note, a powerful AI-enabled meeting assistant, and today we're excited to have in hand Claude's latest upgraded version. Is this a platinum credit card? Nope. It's Claude Note Pro, your updated AI-powered meeting assistant. With 4 built-in microphones, Claude Note captures everything and records crystal clear audio up to 5 meters away. But it's more than a recorder. Take photos, jot ideas, mark highlights, and during key discussions, if I press the button just right here, it instantly saves 30 seconds of key audio as a highlight. I never miss important details. And you've got 50 hours non-stop recording on Note Pro, or 60 hours on standby. There's a smart display showing battery life, recording status, and file transfers, so you always know what's going on. Then, Claude turns it into structured notes, summaries, insights, to-dos, even analysis of power dynamics in the room. And with Ask Claude, your contextual AI assistant, you can draft emails, extract data, brainstorm, or find anything across past meetings. And you're safe knowing that your data is yours and completely private. Click the link in the video description to pre-order your Claude Note Pro. And if you'd like to experience Claude Intelligence even earlier, I've got a special offer for you. Use the code GB20 when ordering Claude Note and get 20% off. Let's get the thoughts of my panel. We've got former Tory MP Anna Firth, Conservative peer Lord Bailey, former Labour Party advisor Matthew Larser. Let's just deal with the substance of what Shabana Mahmood wants to do here in terms of the benefits. Crackdown for people and also making it more difficult for people to get citizenship. Do you think it will work?
No, I don't think it will work. I do think imitation is the most sincere form of flattery. Well, it's true.
No, it's not, Anna. You didn't do it for 15 years.
Hang on, Matthew. Can I just finish my bit and then you can say your bit? And then
you didn't allow me earlier, but anyway,
don't worry. And then I'll interrupt you later.
Come on, let's get on with it.
So, 9 months ago,
she's angry.
They come to the Commons with their flagship Border Security, Asylum and Immigration Act. Does it include any of these measures? No, it doesn't. The Tories come to the Commons with this very proposal to increase indefinite leave to remain from 5 years to 10 years, and now they've...
After you'd lost the election, Anna. Make that clear, please.
We're talking about 9 months ago.
Yes, so you had 14 years to do it, Anna. You sat there on the benches. Did you bring it as a private member's bill?
Okay,
no, you didn't. You sat there and did nothing.
Okay,
talk.
Here we go again. This is absolute rubbish, Matthew.
Sorry. 14 years? For 14 years, Anna?
Hang on.
Don't tell me it's absolute rubbish that you didn't do this.
Hang on.
Let me ask you a simple question, Anna.
No.
Did you do it for 14 years? Yes or no?
Was I in the Commons 14 years
your government, the party that you supported. Did you do it?
I was not.
Did your party do it? Did your party do this for 14 years? No, it didn't, Anna.
Let me finish.
Because you're just telling lies.
No, I'm not telling lies at all.
Can I just say, guys, please, can I just say one thing? Because we are also on radio, and I imagine that the last 2 minutes was relatively unlistenable. So if let's just dial it down a little bit. Sean, are you all right?
I am perfectly
Sean is
fine.
always all right.
I'm perfectly fine.
Well, let's just move on from this because so what she wants to do here, which is basically to block anyone, as I understand it, from getting settled status or
that's not true.
Benefits.
Listen,
what?
The devil will be in the detail. If you start to read the detail, there's a lot of exemptions, and that's where the problem lies. You know, do you volunteer? Are you a care worker? Are you a doctor? For instance, a care worker is a very, very low-skilled position. Yeah, one of the biggest failures we had was the NHS. They brought in so many people who then brought in their families, many of these people low skilled, that left us with this. And the other crucial thing to deal with as well is the current bill we already have. So yes, she makes you wait longer, but if you're still eligible for welfare while you're making that wait, all we're doing is making you wait a bit for a piece of paper.
No, that's the bit I didn't understand, because someone shed some light on this to me. So when she says that people will have to wait 20 years in some cases for indefinite leave to remain.
Correct.
Do we think that they are allowed to claim benefits for all of that 20 years?
And that's my point. If you are, it makes no difference. These measures make no difference. And the other thing as well, if we make you wait 20 years, right, the ECHR will then guarantee you citizenship. So it makes no difference.
It's not clear, but what it does say is if you have been claiming benefits for more than 12 months, then you will have to wait 20 years. Now, the logical extension of that is that if you have been claiming benefits, it's highly likely in that 20-year period you will need to continue claiming benefits. So all she's doing is creating a holding pen in which we are going to be supporting.
So is that the flaw in this, Matthew? Because really what people, amongst other things, is to stop paying benefits for people who've just arrived in this country. So does Shabana Mahmood's plan do that or not?
Well, just I have to ask the question again. Does it stop people paying arrive immediately?
Will it stop, like us, having to pay for people's benefits who've just arrived in Britain?
New arrivals.
Well, I mean, in terms of new arrivals, there's a qualifying period anyway before you can get benefits, so nobody gets benefits straight away. It's 2 years, isn't it?
Right, so...
Yeah. So anyway, let's just begin with the gall and the gumption of my two Tory pals here, who sat there, it may have not been individually on the benches of either the red or green benches for 14 years and did nothing. The absolute... I mean, these two have got more front than Blackpool, as my nan used to say. They didn't do it, and now they're angry that the Labour government is getting a grip on the problem. And the idea that we cut and pasted from something that Chris... Sorry, Anna, you asked me not to interrupt you.
You didn't stop interrupting me.
But you never... You interrupted me on Meghan, Anna.
Anna, let him speak. Let him speak.
And now it's about to fail on legal
keep going. Go.
Anna, you're really angry, and you're angry because you should be hanging your head in shame. You as should every Conservative member of Parliament, including that absolute numpty Chris Phil.
So why
let him speak. Let him speak.
Why did you vote against the Illegal Migration Act? Why did Shabana Mahmood vote against visa sanctions 9 months ago, which is now...
Anna, are you going to shut up or not?
I'm just asking you a question. Can you answer?
Go on.
Right, OK, I'm going to speak, otherwise I'm just not going to speak, OK? Right, OK, so the clear example of this is the Tories have got an absolute cheek, as Zia Youssef has made totally clear, OK, today in his tweet. They did nothing about it, and they're really angry because they know that Labour's getting a grip of the problem. It may not be perfect, it won't achieve everything, but it is a massive step in the right direction. The biggest change for a generation.
I'm not angry at you copying our ideas, Matthew.
The ideas you didn't do, Anna.
The ideas you didn't do. I'm not angry about that at all.
You lost the election and then you may have thought of it.
At all.
Sure.
You were already consigned to the scrap heap by then.
The big thing for me in this is dealing with the Boris way, right? So
political scrap.
The obscene levels of immigration that we saw during that period of time, many of whom are fast approaching, under the current rules, being able to have indefinite leave to remain and therefore be eligible for benefits. Right, now this deals with that, doesn't it? Which is actually quite good.
There's two things. It doesn't deal with that if she doesn't get it through.
Yeah.
I personally think she will get it through because Kemi has said she'll support her, and it will take an enormous Labour defection to not let that happen. So I do think she'll get it through. Yes, if there's any merit in what she's attempting to do, that will stop the bill immediately growing. To settle the argument on the sofa, though, let's be very clear. There was a Boris wave. The Conservatives were involved in that wave, but so were Labour. Labour were very up for that level of immigration, and every time that the Conservatives did something, and I'd be the first to tell you it was never enough, they would say that we were creating a hostile environment or we were racist. What's interesting now, this is a response to Nigel. This is a response to the rise of reform. What Labour have realised is, we all realise that we have to get on top of this immigration thing for the good of everyone, but what Labour have realised is reform are not only a problem for the Conservatives, a problem for Labour as well.
So let's just deal with... We've spoken a bit about the past there, dealing with the Boris wave, who did what and who didn't do what previously. Let's just take it from today. If we had a fresh start from today, if you were like a low-skilled person, hypothetically from India or Pakistan or one of those countries there, and you were thinking about coming to Britain, right, under what Shabana Mahmood is proposing, you would have to have paid national insurance for years.
3 years, £12,500,
right,
which is not a great deal of money.
Never claim benefits.
But it's a step in the right direction.
Speak A-level English and have a clean criminal record. And wait, am I right in saying, is it 10 or 15 years for indefinite leave to remain? I think it's 10 years for indefinite leave to remain.
10 years.
Which is a long time and would put a lot of people off, wouldn't it? Which is what we want.
As I have said, I'm not against any of this. It is a step in the right direction. Some of it's been copied from what the Tories proposed 9 months ago, so of course I'm going to be in favour of it. But what I do not think that this goes far enough. The thing you said right at the very
What would you do then, Anna?
Let me finish, Matthew. The thing you said right at the very beginning is correct. There will be repeated legal challenges.
Yes.
And we will have to, without coming out of the ECHR, a lot of this is going to get stuck in legal long grass.
So let's zone in on that now, because we did actually, in the first hour, we had a human rights lawyer on, and shock horror, he said that there's so much fodder for human rights lawyers here. There's loads of it. He says there's other things, not just the ECHR, things like the Children's Act, all sorts of stuff. I mean, they are going to face thousands of legal challenges on this, so they're going to have to leave the ECHR.
To be clear, your guest who's on earlier was absolutely correct. The things he was saying, if they landed in court, they'd fight. And this is my point. I remember when the Tories tried to make changes, they had everybody from the left making legal challenges against the government and all sorts. I hope now those people make legal challenges against this government, because if they don't, there's a level of politically driven hypocrisy there. But the key thing is this: we will now have to have a much sooner, clearer debate about leaving the ECHR, and I wonder where Labour MPs will be on that, because their defence for their love of immigration was been the ECHR. Unless we remove that, none of this dies in court. This dies.
It absolutely won't die in court, because it happens in other countries. OK, we're in the ECHR, and let's just remind ourselves: we've seen the buffoon Boris criticised elsewhere today. Maybe we'll come on and talk about COVID later in the show. But, you know, 616,000 people were allowed in under the care worker scheme, which was just completely exploited. And unless Labour act, the Tories would have handed them indefinite leave to remain in our country, carte blanche. If you voted Tory at the last election, this is what you'd have got. You'd have got none of this because none of this was in the Tory manifesto.
Yeah, but there is the problem is at the moment there is a bit of a Labour backbench rebellion. Some people
usual suspects.
Usual suspects. Fair enough. But then the other aspect is that. We've got the budget on the 26th, so next Wednesday, isn't it? Wednesday's that? I should know. There's a live
Tuesday.
show. There's a live show with the studio audience. So,
Tuesday.
I hope it's anyway.
Or maybe it's Wednesday.
And it is Wednesday.
Sorry, I'm confused.
And there's going to be, I think there's going to be huge levels of rebellion about that. So there is the very real possibility that Shabana Mahmood has announced all of this. We are going to get these legal challenges. Keir Starmer might not even be in power in a couple of months. But
Patrick,
she might not be in post.
The reason I don't think Matthew's correct about the legal issue is because in this country we have persisted in allowing our judges to accept Article 8, to accept Article 3 arguments. So we have now got a whole cadre of
well, she's doing something about
in this country, and that's the problem we face.
I mean, I agree with you to the extent, Anna, that you know, sometimes we gold plate and we overinterpret.
We have
but the idea that even ECHR is the golden ticket to sort this is not.
No.
But let's just remember that today, for the first time, okay, in a generation, including all those 14 wasted Tory years, we've actually got a government that's getting a grip on the ability of people.
Let's be clear.
Come on.
Fact, Anna.
Come on.
You don't like it.
Stop. What you're hearing is Matthew being on message for the Labour Party because they're terrified of what their traditional vote thinks about this. But let's be clear, Matthew's correct when he says leaving the ECHR isn't a golden bullet, but I tell you what, it's the first blocker. Our legal system has demonstrated it will follow that to the letter of the law. And what it would do, if we did leave that, it would then allow us to set our rules. The Labour government, if it's serious, will be able to get done what it says it wants to get done.
OK. All right. Well, look, I'll be very, very keen to see what people at home or wherever you're listening or watching this are thinking. But I suspect we are about to be confronted with the very real situation where a government with a huge majority, which is a left-wing government with a Home Secretary who is obviously British but of Pakistani heritage, is trying to announce some really quite tough immigration measures here that would save the British public a lot of money and stop people taking the mick when it comes to benefits. And if the law, if the law doesn't let her do that, then we have got a massive problem, haven't we? Because if she can't do it in this situation with everything, all of the different aspects that she's got going for us, the Home Secretary at the moment, well, then nobody's going to be able to do it, are they? And that's a huge problem. But anyway, look.